Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., all rights reserved.
You're listening to a man whose work is never done.
In a job like yours, even when it's finished, there's always one more thing to do.
And his job is to make your job easier.
It's a very difficult job, and the only way to get through it is we all work together as a team. And that means you do everything I say.
He's Jim Blasingame, the Small Business Advocate.
Welcome back, 34 after the hour. Thank you very much for joining me. Thanks for hanging out with me. Very excited about our good friend Ted Fishman being back on the show. Ted is a longtime member of our Brain Trust. He is the author of two of my favorite books, China Inc. Well, I have worn this book out. I love this book. It's been so helpful to me to understand what's going on the other side of the planet. His new book is called Shock of Gray, and it's an excellent demographic look at the aging of the world's population. But the thing I'm really excited about, he's our good friend, Ted Fishman. Welcome back to the show.
Oh, so glad to be with you, Jim. Good morning.
Good to have you back. Hey, Ted, one of the things that's always been interesting to me and you have some perspectives on this, being a global thinker and reporter, is the differences between the way the West does business and the way the non-West does business. And by that I mean, if you go to Europe, if you go to America, there's in the marketplace, any kind of corruption is rare. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's very, very rare, and it certainly is not available to the degree that you wouldn't expect to be spurned and scorned if you tried to bribe somebody. In other parts of the world, the non-West, I'm going to call it, that's not the case. There's a lot of corruption, and it's really holding those economies back, isn't it?
It is. It holds them back, and it holds us back from doing business there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a kind of non-tariff trade barrier. You could think of it that way, because the local businesses.
That's a good way to think of it.
The local businesses are so expert at how to navigate the system, who to bribe, who to grease, and of course we have the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which prohibits American companies from engaging in bribes, which I think is a good thing.
Well, an ethical paradigm has rules and boundaries that we operate in, but an unethical situation is a paradigm, just as strong a paradigm the other way, isn't it? It has the rules and expectations, and it's basically a way of doing business. What are we doing? I know that you've been looking at some of the technology that hopefully will help people to skirt this situation. What do you think?
Well, one thing you have to do is you have to evaluate how a country is fighting corruption itself, or is it encouraging corruption? One country I'm quite familiar with is Indonesia. I spend a lot of time there, and some of the leaders who get high marks there are doing what they can to discourage local corruption. For example, if you need an ID tag, or you need a business permit, or you need any kind of thing that you would go to a city hall or a county hall for, there's usually a very, very long line. And one of the leaders there asked me, Ted, why do you think the lines are so long? And I said, well, I don't know. Poor resources, bad administration. And he said, oh, no, not at all. The reason lines exist is because there's somebody waiting at the edges for you to bribe them so you can go to the front of the line.
Wow.
And, so once you have perspective,
just everyday
you see lines everywhere.
You're talking about everyday citizens just going to get some kind of a driver's license or something like that.
Yeah, and you can imagine if you're a foreigner showing up and they know you're completely at their mercy. So this one local administrator, a local mayor in a city of around 800,000 people, got high marks in the country because he said, well, why don't we get rid of that bribing opportunity by putting ATM machines in our municipal buildings and having all of the permitting done electronically.
Wow.
That way you don't have to threaten the bribers.
Right.
You don't have to make them mad. You
or
don't
be
want
threatened or be intimidated.
or be intimidated, but you don't want to make them your enemies. You don't want to like fire them. You kind of want them to get their to do their job. But citizens can go up and they can get the permits that they're supposed to get for low cost or for free. Well,
but doesn't that also eliminate a job?
No, I mean it's nobody's. It might eliminate somebody's job at a window, but it doesn't.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just, this is what's happening in America with Obamacare and with the threats of increased minimum wage is companies go around that with technology.
Well, they go around technology anyway. I mean, in a high-wage country, what you hear over and over from businesses, they will do anything they can not to hire a person if there's a machine that can do it.
That's the way it is, this is fascinating stuff that Ted's bringing us, folks, and he's got a perspective. I don't know anybody else who has that, at least not anybody that I know. When we come back, we're going to talk some more about this, how other countries are dealing with corruption through technology. 20 till, I'm Jim Blasingame. Stay with me.
Insperity presents the Small Business Advocate Show with Jim Blasingame, brought to you by FedEx, CareerBuilder.com, and Palo Alto Software. This is a copyrighted production of Small Business Network, Inc., intended for the private use of our audience. Except as otherwise provided by copyright law, all other copying, redistribution, or publication without prior written consent is prohibited. All rights reserved.